I'm here today to provide some additional information on Deputy Dustin Whitson's condition, as well as some additional detail on the deputy-involved shooting that occurred on Tuesday. Let me begin by saying Deputy Whitson remains in critical condition in ICU at an area hospital. He's surrounded by his family and friends and is receiving excellent medical care. He began his career with our department in 2007 as a sheriff's custody assistant and later a custody specialist at our jail facilities. He then transitioned to the Victorville station as a sheriff's service specialist and ultimately becoming a deputy sheriff in 2015. He's currently assigned to the Hesperia station. This event began on Tuesday shortly before 1 in the afternoon when an employee at a mini storage facility on Bear Valley Road in Hesperia called to report a subject who had previously been asked to leave was back, and he was asked to leave previously because he had been found living in one of the storage units. He was entering codes trying to enter the secure portion of the mini storage facility, and that was the reason for the call. Deputy Whitson was assigned to that call, and prior to his arrival, the subject moved the maroon Ford SUV from its location at the mini storage facility to the east into a strip mall near an Aldi market. When Deputy Whitson arrived, he made contact at the vehicle with the sole occupant who was seated in the right front seat, who was later identified as Robert Sparks. The conversation was very short, as we've learned thus far, and for some reason, Sparks shot Deputy Whitson, striking him in the left arm and chest area. Deputy Whitson fell to the ground, and Sparks exited the vehicle and moved to the driver's side. He then began exiting the parking lot, and a Good Samaritan was able to take photographs of the vehicle as he was leaving and provide that to investigators later. A Good Samaritan also rushed to Deputy Whitson's aid, used his radio to notify dispatch that a deputy sheriff had been shot. Additional deputies arrived within minutes and provided life-saving first aid to Deputy Whitson while they waited for the sheriff's air rescue helicopter to arrive. Once the helicopter arrived, Deputy Whitson was put into the helicopter and his medical care continued, given by the paramedics that work for County Fire that ride on our air rescue helicopter. He was flown to an area hospital where his medical care continued. Sparks continued from the parking lot in an eastbound direction on Bear Valley Road towards Apple Valley. The vehicle description as well as the direction of travel was broadcast over the sheriff's radio and was heard by the responding deputies. An off-duty deputy saw the suspect vehicle eastbound on Bear Valley Road and turned south on Apple Valley Road, making a right turn. He began to follow the vehicle, and deputies from the Apple Valley station joined. They continued southbound to the end of Apple Valley Road in the pavement portion and continued into the dirt. Shortly after entering the dirt, Sparks stopped his vehicle and fired multiple rounds at the following deputies. Sparks continued southbound till his vehicle became disabled and stuck. When he got out of the vehicle with a gun in his hand, he fired again at responding deputies. Sparks continued walking southbound towards an occupied residence and fired again at responding deputies. And as he entered the fenced area of this inhabited residence and headed towards the front door, he fired again at the helicopter. Deputies on the ground as well as a deputy in the helicopter returned fire. Sparks was struck by the gunfire and fell to the ground approximately 30 feet from the front door of that occupied residence. Responding deputies were able to secure and detain Sparks. While they were waiting for medical aid, they searched him and he located 2 firearms. One of the firearms was determined to be Deputy Whitson's service weapon. The information we have at this point is after Deputy Whitson was shot and fell to the ground, Sparks took his gun from his holster and left with it. Sparks was transferred via air ambulance to an area hospital and remains in critical condition. Robert Sparks is 40 years old, a resident of San Bernardino. He's got an extensive criminal history, most recently being committed to Patton in 2016. He was released towards the end of 2020 and transitioned into a board and care facility. About March 5th or so, he was AWOL from that board and care facility, and a felony warrant was issued for his arrest. Our investigation continues at this point, and we will update you on information as it becomes available.